Are you ready to have your mind blown? Because in this video, we are going to talk about one of the most intelligently written films in cinema history, Shutter Island. First, we will follow the story of the film, and afterwards, when we begin the analysis, the entire veil of mystery will be lifted. Hold tight and fasten your seatbelts, because we're starting. In the very first scene of the film, we see our main character, Edward Daniels, or simply Teddy, feeling sick while traveling on a ferry. He is nauseous because of seasickness. He keeps repeating an important sentence to himself: "It's just water." This sentence, which we hear in the very opening scene of the film, is not something said randomly. When we return to this sentence at the end of the video, I will explain what it truly means. Teddy, who is a federal marshal, returns to the deck and meets the detective who will be his partner on the case. Detective Chuck notices that Teddy looks sick and asks, "You okay, boss?" Teddy gives a similar answer: "I just can't stand the water." It is clearly visible that our character has a problem with water. The film has already begun to condition us to this idea. As their conversation continues, Chuck asks if he is married. Teddy responds, "I was." Then he says that his wife died. As we hear Teddy's sentence, we see flashbacks of memories with his wife. Afterwards, we see images of the sea again. If you noticed, the film is once again trying to tell us something. You will learn about the issue related to water when the time comes. When Chuck says he is sorry, we learn how Teddy's wife died. While Teddy was at work, there was a fire in their home. His wife died from smoke inhalation during the fire. Detective Chuck expresses his condolences once again and offers Teddy a cigarette. In the film, the place Teddy and his partner are assigned to is an island where mentally ill patients are kept and treated, Shutter Island. Even from a distance, the tension created by its name can be felt intensely. When they arrive, we notice that the police officers who greet them look at the detectives in a strange and tense way. Teddy notices this and tells the officer in charge that his men seem tense. The officer replies with a thought-provoking line: "We're all tense right now, sir." This scene makes us feel that something unusual is happening on the island. As the police escort the detectives, we learn that the most dangerous criminally insane patients are held and treated on this island. The reason Teddy and his partner have come is to investigate the disappearance of a patient. The detectives are taken to Dr. Cawley, the psychiatrist in charge of the patients on the island. The doctor provides them with information about the escaped patient, Rachel Solando. Rachel had drowned her 3 children in the past. At that moment, Teddy is experiencing a headache. The seasickness has affected him. He takes the medicine given by Dr. Cawley. The doctor explains that they do not understand how Rachel escaped from her room. The door was locked from the outside, and the windows had iron bars. In other words, her escape seems impossible. The detectives go to examine the room. As described, it truly seems impossible for her to have escaped. While looking around, Teddy finds a piece of paper on the floor. On it, it says, "The Rule of 4. Who is 67? The doctor confirms that the handwriting belongs to Rachel, but they cannot understand what the number 67 means. Teddy believes the note is an important clue and keeps it for himself. In the next scene, they search places Rachel might have gone. Dr. Cawley says that at the time of her disappearance, there were 7 staff members near the exit. Even so, the probability of her leaving without being seen is extremely low. At this point, Teddy says he wants to question all the staff members. Although the doctor is reluctant, he eventually agrees to gather them together. As they examine the surroundings, they notice the steep cliffs. Even if Rachel escaped, the probability that she fell from the cliffs and died is very high. Teddy asks about the caves in the cliffs. The officer says it would be impossible for her to reach them. The area is covered with poisonous ivy, and she doesn't even have shoes. At that moment, we encounter a very important object for the film, the lighthouse. When Teddy asks about it, the officer gives evasive answers, saying they have checked it. In this scene, suspicion about the lighthouse begins to form in Teddy's mind. When the staff members are gathered, they all claim they never saw Rachel. Teddy notices that one staff member is looking down nervously. When Teddy pressures him, the man admits that he went to the bathroom once that day. Dr. Cawley becomes very angry upon hearing this. After everything that has happened, Teddy believes that everything he has been told on the island is a lie. He trusts no one, especially Dr. Cawley. In later scenes, Teddy questions several patients and staff members about a man named Andrew Latis. No one claims to know such a person. After the questioning, Chuck asks Teddy who Andrew Latis is. Teddy explains that Andrew Latis was the maintenance man in the apartment building where he once lived with his wife. Latis was the one responsible for the fire that killed his wife. When Teddy learned that Latis was on this island, he accepted the assignment. One of his goals is to find Andrew Latis. In fact, Teddy believes that Andrew is being held in Ward C, a ward where even the island's police are not allowed to enter. The mystery surrounding the island continues to grow. Meanwhile, Teddy also suspects that illegal mind control experiments are being conducted on patients. In one scene, he suggests that perhaps Rachel does not even exist. Considering that her escape from the locked room seems nearly impossible, Chuck's arguments begin to make sense. If Chuck is right and they were deliberately sent to the island, then they are surrounded. Teddy is now a prisoner of Shutter Island. As the story progresses, because their clothes were soaked in the rain, the detectives are given temporary clothes. Their wet cigarettes are also replaced. During a meeting with the doctors, Teddy learns that there are 66 patients in the wards. He reminds them about the number 67 written on the note. Teddy believes there is a 67th patient being hidden from them. The doctor insists that there is no patient number 67. Then the doctor announces good news. Rachel has been found near the lighthouse. We had mentioned that the lighthouse is important. Teddy was suspicious the first time he saw it. Its reappearance is not random. They question Rachel, but nothing suspicious is found. Teddy's migraines intensify, and the doctor gives him medication again. Although Teddy initially refuses, he eventually takes it because he cannot endure the pain. After resting, Teddy and Chuck secretly go to Ward C to find Andrew Latis. There, Teddy meets a patient named George Noyce. George tells him that everything happening on the island is a game and says an important line. "This is all for you. There is no investigation. You're a rat in a maze." When Teddy says he is wrong, George asks him if he has been alone at all since he arrived. Has he ever worked with this partner before? When Teddy insists he trusts Chuck, George replies, "They've already won." George also says that Rachel does not exist and that the doctors are performing brain surgeries on patients, cutting certain nerves to make them more docile. He claims Rachel objected to these surgeries and was therefore declared insane and locked away. He asks Teddy if he has been having headaches and whether he has been taking medication or cigarettes from the doctors. We remember that Teddy has indeed been given medication several times, and his cigarettes were replaced. George warns him that his hands will begin to tremble. Teddy looks at his hands, they are trembling. Rachel later tells him similar things about surgeries being performed in the lighthouse. Teddy becomes determined to reach the lighthouse and uncover the truth. The next day, when Teddy returns, the patients look at him anxiously. The staff warns them not to stare. While speaking with Dr. Cawley, Teddy offers him a cigarette but then remembers Rachel's words and refuses to smoke. When Teddy asks where his partner Chuck is, the doctor gives a critical answer. "You don't have a partner. You came here alone." Teddy believes they are trying to portray him as insane, just as they supposedly did with Rachel. He refuses to give them any leverage by mentioning Chuck. Believing that Chuck has been captured and taken to the lighthouse for surgery, Teddy swims to the lighthouse. He neutralizes the guard, takes his weapon, and enters. Inside, he finds nothing but empty rooms. At the top, in the final room, there is no operating theater, only Dr. Cawley sitting calmly at a desk. This is the climax of the film. Dr. Cawley tells Teddy that the gun he is holding is unloaded. Teddy checks and sees that he is right. The doctor explains that Teddy's tremors and hallucinations are not caused by medication but by the lack of it. He has been taking medication for 24 months. The 67th patient in Ward C is Teddy himself. Or rather, Andrew Latis. Edward Daniels is an anagram of Andrew Latis. Rachel Solando is an anagram of Dolores Channel, his wife. Andrew Latis is not searching for a criminal. He is the criminal. Andrew's wife, Dolores, suffered from manic depression and had suicidal tendencies. One day, while Andrew was at work, she drowned their 3 children in a lake near their house. This is why water disturbs him so deeply. From the very beginning, he kept saying, "It's just water." He cannot tolerate water because it reminds him of the lake where his children died. When he returned home and found his children's bodies, he shot his wife. Unable to bear the pain of losing his children and killing the woman he loved, Andrew created an alternate identity. In his delusion, he is a heroic federal marshal investigating a conspiracy. The entire island staff participated in an elaborate role play to break his delusion and force him to confront reality. 9 months earlier, they had tried this treatment before. It worked temporarily, but Andrew relapsed into his delusion. At the end, after appearing to accept the truth, Andrew sits on the steps with Dr. Sheehan. He speaks as if he is Teddy again, suggesting that perhaps the treatment has failed. But then he says one final line. Which would be worse, to live as a monster, or to die as a good man? With this line, we understand the truth. Andrew has regained his sanity. He knows who he is. He remembers everything, but he chooses lobotomy to escape the unbearable pain. He pretends to relapse so that they will perform the surgery. He would rather die as a good man than live as a monster. And that is why Shutter Island is one of the most brilliantly written films in cinema history. Let's take a closer look at the symbols in Shutter Island. Teddy's repeated phrase, "It's just water," isn't random. It's actually a deep metaphor for the guilt he feels over his lost children and his wife. The ocean, the fog, and the lighthouse scenes all reflect the psychological maze of the film. You might not notice it while watching, but every detail mirrors Teddy's mental state. The characters' actions are very deliberate. The doctors and police aren't just trying to control Teddy. They are performing an elaborate psychological theater so he doesn't discover the truth. Chuck's role as a partner is actually a tool to test Teddy's trust. Rachel represents the film's ethical and moral dilemmas. On the surface, these characters may seem simple, but each one strengthens the hidden messages of the movie. Teddy's hallucinations, migraines, and the mental labyrinth he navigates put the audience in his shoes. What's real and what's imagined? Scorsese intentionally uses this technique to keep viewers on edge and constantly questioning. While watching, you might feel like you're missing something, and that's exactly the effect the film is designed to create. In the lighthouse scene, there's actually no real physical threat. All the fear exists in Teddy's mind. The cave scene is the same, it's purely a mental experience. The deaths of his children and his wife in the fire are woven into Teddy's subconscious guilt. Most viewers don't catch this, but these small details are what make the movie unforgettable. Finally, here's a question for you. Which is worse, living as a monster, or dying as a good man? This encourages you to think deeper about the film and also sparks discussion in the comments. Martin Scorsese doesn't just want you to watch the story, he wants you to experience it and reflect on it. Read naturally, slowly, and with suspenseful pauses to emphasize key words like guilt, hallucinations, and truth. Add slight dramatic pauses after each paragraph for maximum effect. That's it for our deep dive into Shutter Island. I hope you enjoyed uncovering all those hidden clues and mind-bending twists as much as I did. If this video made you see the movie in a completely new light, don't forget to give it a like. It really helps support the channel and lets me know you want more content like this. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into your favorite movies. Trust me, there's a lot more mystery, twists, and secrets waiting for you right here. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Did you notice any clues we didn't cover? Or maybe you have a theory that could change the way we all see the film? Share it down below. I read every single comment and it really sparked some incredible conversations. Lastly, thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. Every view, like, and comment makes it possible to keep creating these deep dives, and I truly appreciate every one of you. Stay curious, stay mysterious, and I'll see you in the next video.